The night was quiet, but not peaceful. Ethan walked home after a long shift at the repair shop. The city lights flickered above him, and the cold air pressed against his face. He liked walking at night. Fewer people, less noise. Just his thoughts. And the sound of his boots on the empty street. That was when he heard it, a soft sound, almost like crying. Ethan stopped. He looked around. The street was empty, but the sound came again, weak, scared, and close. It came from a dark alley between two old buildings. He hesitated. Most people would keep walking. Night alleys were dangerous. Ethan knew that, but something about the sound felt wrong. Not human, not normal. Slowly, he stepped closer. "Hello?" Ethan called out. His voice echoed slightly. The crying stopped. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a small shape moved in the shadows. Ethan's heart beat faster. A girl stepped into the weak light of a broken street lamp. She was small, maybe the size of a young teenager. Her clothes were torn and strange, made of a smooth material Ethan had never seen before. Her skin was pale, almost glowing, and thin lines of light moved slowly across her arms, like living marks. Her eyes were the strangest, large, bright, not fully human. She looked at Ethan with fear. He froze. She opened her mouth and spoke in a shaky voice. "Mother." "Lost." That was all she said. Ethan swallowed. His mind screamed at him to run. Nothing about this made sense. This was not a costume, not a trick. The glowing marks on her skin were real. Too real. "You're lost?" Ethan asked carefully. The girl nodded. Her hands trembled as she held them close to her chest. "Lost," she repeated. "Mother gone." Ethan took a slow breath. Whoever or whatever she was scared and alone. He noticed dark marks on her arms. Burns, old scars. She had been hurt. "It's okay," Ethan said softly. "I won't hurt you." The girl watched him closely, like a scared animal ready to run. Then she slowly reached out and touched the air between them, as if checking if he was real. "Name is Ethan," he said, pointing to himself. "What's yours?" She hesitated, then answered in a quiet voice. "Luma." A low hum filled the air. Ethan looked up. The sky above the city changed. Clouds moved too fast, spinning in a slow circle. A deep sound echoed from above, not loud but powerful, like the sky itself was breathing. Luma gasped and stepped back. "They are looking," she whispered. "Who?" Ethan asked. Before she could answer, a bright light flashed far above the clouds. It disappeared in seconds, but Ethan felt it in his bones. Fear crawled up his spine. "We need to go," Luma said. "They will find me." Ethan didn't ask questions. He didn't think. He acted. "Come with me," he said, holding out his hand. Luma stared at it. Trust was not easy for her. Slowly, she placed her small hand in his. The moment they touched, the glowing lines on her skin brightened. Ethan felt a strange warmth spread through his arm. Not pain, not fear. Something else, strength. They ran, down side streets, past closed shops, into the maze of the sleeping city. Ethan didn't know who was chasing them, but he knew one thing: this girl was in danger. They reached his small apartment building and slipped inside. Ethan locked the door and closed the curtains. His heart pounded as he leaned against the wall. Luma sat on the floor, breathing fast. "You're safe, for now," Ethan said. She looked up at him. Her eyes were wet. "Why help me?" she asked. Ethan thought about that. "I don't know," he said honestly. "You needed help. That's enough." Luma stared at him like she had never heard words like that before. Outside, far above the city, something moved again. A signal had been sent, and somewhere in the dark of space, something powerful had noticed. Ethan had no idea that helping a lost girl for one night would change his life forever. But the galaxy had already begun to watch him. Morning did not come quietly. Ethan woke up to a strange light moving across his wall. For one confused second, he thought he was dreaming. Then he remembered the girl, the alley, the glowing marks. He sat up fast. Luma was standing near the window, looking through a small gap in the curtain. The soft light on the wall was coming from her skin. The glowing lines were brighter than before, moving slowly like calm waves. "Luma," Ethan said carefully. "You're glowing more." She turned to him. Her face looked tired, afraid. "They are closer," she said. "My signal is weak, but it is still calling." Ethan rubbed his face. None of this felt real. Yesterday, he was just a repair worker with a boring life. Now there was an alien girl in his apartment talking about signals. "Who is they?" he asked. Luma walked closer and sat on the chair across from him. She held her hands together tightly. "The Seekers," she said. "They hunt lost ones like me. They do not return us to our families. They take us." "For what?" Ethan asked. She looked down. "For power." Ethan felt anger rise in his chest. He didn't fully understand, but he understood enough. "Someone was hunting this girl. Your mother," he said. "You said she's alive." Luma nodded quickly. "Yes, she is strong, important. She will come. If she finds me first, and if she doesn't." Luma didn't answer. That was answer enough. A loud buzzing sound suddenly filled the air. Ethan jumped up. What was that? Luma's eyes widened. Scan drone. Before Ethan could react, the light in the room flickered. A deep red glow passed over the walls like invisible eyes searching. "Hide," Ethan whispered. Luma moved fast. Too fast. In one smooth motion, she pressed herself against the wall. The glow on her skin faded, becoming almost invisible. The buzzing sound stayed for a few seconds, then faded away. Silence returned. Ethan let out the breath he was holding. "That thing was looking for you," he said. "Yes," Luma replied softly. "And it will come again." Ethan sat down heavily. "Then we don't stay here," he said. "We move." Luma looked at him, surprised. "You would leave your home for me?" Ethan shrugged. "It's just a place. You're a person." Her eyes filled with emotion she did not understand. They moved through the city during the day, staying away from open areas. Ethan borrowed an old jacket and cap to hide Luma's glowing marks. To anyone else, she looked like a quiet girl walking beside him. But Ethan noticed everything. How she listened to every sound. How she looked at the sky like it might fall. How she flinched when a helicopter passed overhead. An abandoned train station. They finally stopped to rest. "This place is old," Ethan said. "No power, no cameras." Luma nodded. Then she surprised him. "Ethan," she said, "if you help me, your life will change." He smiled weakly. "It already has." She stood up and placed her hand on his chest. The glow returned, soft and warm. "I promise," she said slowly, choosing each word. "I will not forget this." Ethan felt the warmth again. Stronger this time. Like something inside him woke up. High above the earth, hidden beyond human sight, a massive shape drifted through space. The signal had been found. The hunt had begun. And Ethan had just made a promise that no human was ever meant to make. To protect something the galaxy wanted to claim. The next move would decide everything. The first sign came without sound. Ethan noticed it when every screen in the city went black at the same time. Billboards, phones, traffic signs dead. The world felt suddenly empty, like the city had stopped breathing. Luma felt it before he did. She froze in the middle of the old train station. Her glowing marks flared bright white, sharp and wild. "They are here," she whispered. Ethan's stomach tightened. "The Seekers?" Luma nodded. "They followed the signal. They will not stop." A low vibration rolled through the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. Somewhere above them, something heavy moved through the air. Ethan grabbed Luma's hand. "We go underground. Now." They ran down a narrow service tunnel, their footsteps echoing. The lights flickered once, then died. Darkness swallowed them. Behind them, a new sound appeared. Metallic. Precise. Not human footsteps. They can see in the dark, Luma said, her voice tight. They do not need light. That makes two of us, Ethan replied, pulling out his old flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness just as a tall shape stepped into view. It was not alive. The way humans were alive. The Seeker stood on long metal legs. Its body was thin and sharp, with glowing red lines where eyes should be. It moved slowly, like it knew there was no rush. Luma gasped. The Seeker tilted its head. Target located, it said in a cold, flat voice. Return the asset, Ethan stepped in front of Luma without thinking. She's not an asset, he said. She's a person. The Seeker paused. Human interference detected, it replied. Step aside. No, Ethan said. The Seeker raised one arm. A red glow formed at its end. Luma screamed, Ethan, run! The blast hit the wall beside them. Stone exploded. The shock threw Ethan across the tunnel. His flashlight skidded. Away. Pain burned through his shoulder, but he forced himself up. Another Seeker appeared behind the first. Then another. They sent more, Luma whispered. Too many. Ethan's mind raced. He grabbed a loose metal pipe from the ground. This way, he shouted. He threw the pipe at the ceiling lights farther down the tunnel. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the air. The Seekers hesitated. Just for a second. That was enough. Ethan and Luma ran. They burst out into a forgotten underground market. Old stalls. Broken signs. Darkness everywhere. Ethan locked a heavy metal gate behind them. It didn't stop the Seekers. The gate bent inward as metal claws pressed against it. Luma collapsed to her knees. I cannot hide anymore, she said. They will take me. No, Ethan said firmly. They won't. He knelt beside her. You said your mother is strong. She will come. Luma looked at him with sad eyes. Not in time. The gate ripped open. The Seekers stepped through. The smoke. Ethan stood up slowly. His hands shook, but his voice did not. You want her? He said. You go through me. The Seekers scanned him. Human life has no strategic value, one said. Move. Ethan smiled through the fear. That's where you're wrong. He grabbed a hanging power cable and slammed it into a broken generator nearby. Sparks exploded. The generator roared to life, sending a wave of energy through the floor. The Seekers screamed. Their red lights flickered. Their movements slowed. They are machines, Ethan shouted. Machines break. Luma stared at him in shock. You fight. Like a warrior, she said. Ethan laughed breathlessly. I fix broken things for a living. The generator overloaded. The blast knocked everyone down. When the smoke cleared, the Seekers lay still, broken, silent. Ethan fell to his knees, exhausted. Luma crawled to him and held his face gently. No one has ever done this for me, she said softly. No one. Ethan looked at her, truly seeing her now, not as an alien, not as a problem. As a scared girl who needed help. We're not done yet, he said. They'll send more. High above the earth, in the cold dark of space, larger ships turned toward the planet. The Seekers had failed. Now the real hunters were coming, and for the first time in galactic history. They were worried. Because a human had fought back, and won. The underground market was silent after the explosion. Broken metal lay everywhere. Smoke slowly faded, leaving the air heavy and warm. Ethan sat against a cracked wall, his chest rising, fast as he tried to breathe. His body hurt, but he was alive. Luma stood in the center of the room. Her glowing marks were no longer soft. They burned bright gold. Ethan looked up. Luma, what's happening? She did not answer him at first. Her eyes were wide, fixed on something only she could see. The air around her felt different, like it was pulling inward. Then she spoke, but not to Ethan. "Mother, I hear you." The ground vibrated lightly. A deep, gentle sound filled the space, not loud but powerful, like a heartbeat coming from far away. Ethan struggled to his feet. "You're talking to her?" Luma nodded slowly. "She found me." The light around Luma grew stronger. Symbols appeared in the air, floating like fire made of lines and shapes. Ethan could not understand them, but he felt their weight. Luma's voice changed. It became steadier, older. "She is speaking through the signal," Luma said. "She is asking about you." "Me?" Ethan asked, surprised. Luma turned to him. "She wants to know why a human would protect me." Ethan laughed softly, tired and confused. "Tell her I didn't think about it." Luma closed her eyes. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the pressure in the room increased. Ethan felt it in his chest, like invisible hands pushing down on him. The symbols shifted, forming a new shape. Luma opened her eyes again. "She understands," Luma said. "But she is afraid." "Of what?" Ethan asked. "Of humans." Luma replied. That stung more than Ethan expected. "She says humans are unpredictable," Luma continued. "We feel too much. We choose emotion over logic. That makes us dangerous." Ethan thought about the Seekers, about how close they came to dying. "Maybe she's right," he said quietly. Luma shook her head. "No, she is wrong." The light suddenly dimmed. Luma cried out and fell to her knees. Ethan rushed to her side. "What's wrong?" "They blocked the signal," Luma gasped. "The hunters. They are trying to silence her." The walls shook harder now. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ethan looked around. "We need to move again." Luma grabbed his arm. Her hand was ice cold. "If they block her fully," she said, "my mother will be forced to make a choice." "What kind of choice?" Ethan asked. Luma looked at him, fear clear on her face. "She will have to decide whether Earth is worth saving or destroying." Ethan froze. "You're saying she could attack Earth?" "Yes," Luma said softly. "To stop the hunters. To end the threat." Ethan stood up slowly. "No," he said. "That can't happen." Luma looked up at him. "Why do you care? It is your world, not mine." Ethan thought of the city above them. The people walking, laughing, living normal lives. They had no idea what was coming. "Because they don't deserve to die for something they don't understand," he said. "Just like you didn't." Luma stared at him. Then she placed her glowing hand on the ground. "I can send one more message," she said. "Very short." "Do it," Ethan said. "Tell her the truth." Luma closed her eyes and focused. The last of the symbols returned, shaking and unstable. "Mother," Luma whispered, "a human helped me. He protected me when he could have run. Humans are not what they seem." The signal flickered. For a moment, Ethan thought it was gone. Then a new light filled the room, soft, calm, and blue. Luma gasped. "She heard me," she said, tears forming. "She is coming herself." Ethan felt relief, then fear. What happens when she gets here? Luma stood up slowly. "Everything changes," she said. "For you, for Earth." The blue light faded above the planet, far beyond human sight. A massive ship changed its path. Unlike the hunters, it did not hide. It moved openly. Confidently. Mother was coming for her lost child, and she would judge humanity by the actions of one man. Ethan looked at Luma and made a silent decision. Whatever came next, he would face it, because some promises were bigger than fear, and some choices could change the fate of worlds. The night sky above the city split open. That was the only way Ethan could describe it. Clouds burned away in silent lines of blue. Fire as a massive shape appeared high above the earth. It did not rush. It did not hide. It arrived like it had always owned the sky. Luma felt it instantly. "She is here," Luma whispered. "My mother." Ethan stood on the roof of an abandoned building beside her, the cold wind cutting across his face. Sirens echoed across the city. People pointed upward. Satellites fell dark as the giant ship moved into position. Then the hunters came back. Not machines this time. Living soldiers descended in narrow beams of red light, landing on rooftops and streets with heavy force. Tall, armored, their eyes burned. With hunger, they are desperate, Luma said. If they take me now, they gain power beyond limits. Ethan tightened his fists. A loud voice shook the air. It did not come from speakers. It came from everywhere. Return the child. The hunters froze. Luma trembled. That is her. Before Ethan could react, another voice cut through the sky, sharp and cruel. She belongs to us now. The hunters raised their weapons. Ethan stepped forward. You want her? He shouted. His voice sounded small against the sky, but it did not break. You go through me. Luma grabbed his arm. Ethan, no. You will die. He looked at her and smiled softly. Maybe, he said. But not alone. The hunters fired. Blue light slammed into Ethan's chest. Pain exploded through his body. He fell to his knees, breath ripped from his lungs. Smoke rose from his jacket. Luma screamed. The sky changed. The massive ship above responded. Space folded. A wall of light dropped between Ethan and the hunters, stopping the next blast inches from his face. The ground cracked under the force. Silence followed. Then a figure appeared within the light. Tall, calm, powerful. Luma fell to her knees. Mother, the being stepped forward. Her form was made of light and shape, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Her eyes fixed on Ethan. You, she said. Human. Ethan forced himself to stand, his legs shaking. You protected my daughter, she continued. You fought my enemies. Why? Ethan swallowed. Because she was scared, he said. And alone. The being studied him. The city, the soldiers, the sky all waited. Your kind is weak, she said. Your bodies break. Your weapons fail. Ethan met her gaze. But we still stand, he said. That's what makes us human. The hunters shifted nervously. Luma's mother turned toward them. You violated ancient law, she said calmly. The hunters attacked. They never stood a chance. Light erased them from the sky. When it was over, the mother turned back to Ethan. For your choice, she said. There is a price. Ethan felt his heart stop. You may walk away, she continued. Forget this night. Forget my daughter. Luma gasped. No. Or, the mother said, you may step beyond your world. Protect her again. Become something more. Ethan looked at Luma. Her eyes were filled with hope and fear. The city burned below. The galaxy waited above. A human choice now carried a galactic cost. Ethan had seconds to decide. Time felt frozen. The wind stopped. The city noise faded into nothing. Even the massive ship above the clouds seemed to hold its breath. Ethan stood between two worlds. Luma's mother watched him with eyes that had seen stars die. Her presence pressed against his mind, not painful, but heavy, like standing before a living truth. You hesitate, she said. That is rare. Ethan laughed weakly. I'm human. That's kind of our thing. Luma stepped closer to him. Her hand trembled as she held his sleeve. If you choose this path, her mother continued, you will never be the same. Your world will move on without you. Ethan looked down at his hands. They were burned, shaking. Human. He thought about his small apartment, the repair shop, the quiet life he never loved, but always accepted. Then he looked at Luma. Small, brave, alone, in a galaxy that wanted to use her. What happens if I say no? Ethan asked. Luma's mother turned her gaze toward Earth. The hunters will return, she said calmly. Not today, not tomorrow. But they always do. Ethan felt anger rise again. So Earth becomes a battlefield. Yes, she replied. Eventually, Luma shook her head. Mother, please. Her mother softened just a little. There is another path, she said. One that requires sacrifice. She raised her hand and an image formed in the air. Ethan saw himself change stronger, faster, standing among stars he could not name. You would become a guardian, she said. Bonded to my kind, enhanced, trained, you would stand where humans were never meant to stand. Ethan swallowed. And Earth? Protected, she said. By treaty, by fear. Ethan laughed quietly. Fear of humans? The mother's lips curved slightly. Fear of you. The idea felt unreal. Luma looked at Ethan, tears in her eyes. I don't want you to lose everything because of me. Ethan reached out and wiped her tears. You didn't take anything, he said. You showed me something. What? She asked softly. That my life could mean more. The sky rumbled again. New signals appeared around the ship. The hunters have allies, the mother said. Time is short. Ethan took a deep breath. If I accept, he asked, do I still get to choose who I protect? The mother studied him carefully. Yes, she answered. That is why I offer this to you. Ethan closed his eyes. Fear, hope, purpose, all mixed together. He opened them again. I accept, he said. The air exploded with light. Energy wrapped around his body, lifting him off the ground. Pain flashed, but it was clean, sharp, transforming. His heartbeat sensed with something larger, stronger. Luma cried out his name. Ethan screamed once. Then the pain stopped. He landed on his feet, stronger, steadier. Different. The mother nodded in approval. It is done. Ethan looked at his hands. Again, they were still human, but something new moved beneath the skin. What happens now? He asked. Luma smiled through her tears. Now, you change the galaxy. High above Earth, a signal spread faster than light. A human has joined the stars, and every power in the galaxy began to prepare, because the next chapter would not be about survival. It would be about fear. Human fear. Or fear of humans. The stars felt closer now. Ethan stood inside the great ship, looking out through a wide crystal window. Earth was below him, blue, fragile, alive. For the first time, he could see how small it was. And how precious. His body felt different, stronger, faster. His heartbeat was calm, steady, no longer afraid. But his thoughts were still human. I don't feel like a hero, Ethan said quietly. Luma stood beside him. She wore new clothes now, clean and glowing softly. She smiled. Heroes never do, she replied. Behind them, Luma's mother watched in silence. The ship moved smoothly through space, far beyond human reach. Around them, other alien ships kept their distance. None dared come close. They are watching you, Luma said. All of them. Ethan nodded. Let them. The mother stepped forward. The hunters have retreated, she said. They spread word of what happened here. What did they say? Ethan asked. Her eyes glowed faintly. They said a human stood against them and survived. Ethan looked down at his hands again. I didn't do it alone, he said. No, she agreed. You did it because of who you are. A warning signal flashed across the ship. A distant fleet appeared on the edge of space. Alien leaders. Observers, rulers of many worlds. They want to see you, Luma said. The human. The ship slowed. The space around them filled with light as the fleets formed a wide circle. Ethan stepped forward. I'll talk, he said. Luma grabbed his arm. Ethan, he smiled. I know. The ship's voice echoed across space, translated for all to hear. This human protected a child not of his species. He challenged hunters stronger than him. He did not ask for reward. The silence that followed was heavy. Then a voice spoke from the fleet. Why? Ethan took a breath. Because she needed help, he said simply. That's it. More voices followed. Humans are weak. Humans fight each other. Humans destroy their own world. Ethan did not deny it. Yes, he said. We do all that. He paused, but we also protect. We stand up when we're afraid. We choose others over ourselves. The fleets shifted uneasily. You feared humans, Ethan continued. Not because we are strong, but because we care. Luma's mother watched him closely, and caring, Ethan said, is our greatest weapon. The silence broke. One by one, ships began to pull back. A message spread across the stars. Humans are unpredictable. Humans bond deeply. Humans do not abandon their own or others. The galaxy adjusted. Later, as the ship turned back toward Earth, Luma stood with Ethan again. You don't have to stay, she said softly. You've done enough. Ethan looked at Earth, then at the stars. I'll stay close, he said. Someone needs to make sure they remember what they learned. She smiled sadly. Will I see you again? He knelt and met her eyes. Whenever. You need me, he said. Luma hugged him tightly. Thank you for seeing me. When Ethan returned to Earth, the city looked the same, but he was not. Above the planet, hidden beyond sight, a silent guardian watched Dot and across the galaxy. Truth spread faster than fear. Humans are not small. Humans are not weak, and when they choose to protect, even the stars listen.